Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world, receiving our signals via the magic of the internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, created by whom? We the people, we the people, we the people. Don't forget that, folks. They're now controlled by those who actually are just in it to make it themselves. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on to the geniuses. LNS Studios, Senor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beba.
Well, good morning, Egberto. It is Thursday morning at the radio, the 17th of July, 2025, and I have an interesting observation here. The interesting observation is, as you know, they're pounding Trump about the Epstein files. Okay, well, that to me is one of the minor things that he's done. That's in the past. So, not that it's not important, because apparently it is. But the thing about it is the egregious stuff that he's done, the cutting budgets, the kicking old people off of, and letting Doge raid the Social Security records and all this, all the horrible things that he's done so far pale in comparison to the Epstein files. What? It's the old adage. They'll swallow an elephant and choke on a gnat.
You know something?
And that is my observation.
I am glad you said that. I don't feel so guilty anymore. I have not written one article, and since this stuff has started, I've not written one article on the Epstein story because, like you, I just, the deviancy of of the elected Donald Trump was always known, and he still got elected. I don't know what do they think they're going to find that he messed with children? Do you have any doubt that a guy who said, we kind of like, or this guy likes them young with a smirk on his face, that he wasn't part of that cabal? I don't know, but
of course I'm saying that he probably is, probably, because I have no proof yet. They haven't released them. But, it's like, okay, the egregious stuff that he has done so far, there's that, we that's okay. He's been a strong, tough leader. Yeah, okay.
No, but look, now, I'm with you 100% because I think you nailed it when you said the amount of people that are harmed for the things that he has done so far in his second term compared to all of that stuff in the past that, we pretty much put it, the country pretty much sneezed or did nothing. They elected the guy again, and this time he won the majority.
Barely.
Yeah.
We didn't win a majority.
Okay.
He got 49
Thank
points.
you.
Yep.
Thank you for correcting me. That is so important. He still didn't win 50% of the vote. Thank you, brother.
No, I didn't win 50%.
Yeah.
No, that's Neil Aquino in the background because it's Neil Aquino Day.
It's Neil Aquino Day. I haven't introduced him yet, but he just couldn't hold back. He wasn't going to make me slip up with that at all, Howard. And God.
Neil is like the little guy on your shoulder. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you so I take part in a weekly protest at Senator Cornyn's office, and this is completely anecdotal, and I say every week, we get far more positive reactions than negative. But anecdotally, we got a bunch fewer middle fingers, and people rolling down their window to call us whatever. And we've been called pedophiles, over the years repeatedly, at the Cornyn protest, for covering up for this. And I felt anecdotally that it took the wind out of their sails. And we were
You know what,
sometimes
Neil?
Yeah.
Tell me about that when after Jack, because Jack is sitting down in the
Oh, I'm
wings.
sorry. Yeah.
No, waiting to
Step on your
tell.
time.
No.
Yeah.
I just want to expand on what you're gonna say and have more time to do
Yeah.
it. So let's let Jack give us his wisdom, which he always starts the program with, and then let's go into that. That's so important, Neil. Jack.
Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
All right. It is more important than ever that we as Democrats reassert and reinforce our commitment to working people, said one lawmaker as House representatives launch new effort to rally working class for electoral wins in 2026. And the other thing is, it's not on your list here, but massive fire destroys main stage of Tomorrowland rocket as Musk builds them and blows them up on the launch pad. Would NASA be allowed to perform this poorly? And what's this Tomorrowland? Sounds kind of Nazi.
Yeah, it's a concentration camp on Mars.
Did I miss something? Did another thing blow up or some? I didn't know that, Jack. When did that happen?
Well, I was just reading it on the little news stuff here.
Oh, okay.
So, the main stage of the Tomorrowland rocket blew up. And I imagine the other stages on top of it didn't do too well either.
No, I don't imagine they did. That gravity has a way of messing things up.
Oh, yes. But anyway, anything else you want to say, Howard, before we get into Aquino Day?
No, that was just it. These hardcore MAGAs are now going, wait a minute. If he's on the Epstein files, he's a bad dude. He was a bad dude before, and you just didn't see it. You always wonder what's going to wake him up. And the Epstein files is the alarm clock? Seriously?
I don't think so. Let me tell you, if this guy, if a judge says this guy has raped a woman, if this guy has been convicted of sexual abuse, if this guy has been known to steal from folks without a problem, I don't think the Epstein file is going to make a hoot of a difference. The real reason the Epstein files are making a ruckus right now is because they expected to find a whole bunch of Democrats on that list that they want to expose as being the deviant party or something. If Donald Trump appears on that thing, they will find an excuse to support Donald Trump, even if his name appears there. So, I find, I hear a lot of Democrats saying, run with it and all of that sort of stuff. The truth of the matter is, we have already shown as a country that we would elect, depending on who the person is, of course, but we don't mind electing deviancy. So why waste our time on this and not do what, like I said, Howard, I write 3-4 blogs a day, sometimes more. Not one of them had anything to do with Epstein, because I just couldn't find, so for our audience, I couldn't find a sensible argument that this is going to somehow make a difference on Trump itself. Look, these guys are mad because they want to find democratic deviancy. They don't care about what Trump does, so I don't know. But anyway, anything else, man? All right, I guess he's gone. So let's go ahead, Neil. Today, folks, it's Thursday, which means it's Neil Aquino Day. Neil is the founder of the Houston Democracy Project, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Does a whole lot of work out there, really informing not just locally, but nationally. Anyway, good morning, Neil. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, boy. Good morning. Studio, Egberto. Good morning. Local, regional, national, global, politics done right audience. And glad to be here. And alluded to just a moment ago, it's just a quick anecdotal story, So part of a weekly protest at Senator Cornyn's office every Tuesday, 11:30 to 1, 5300 Memorial Drive, Houston office. Please join us. And I just swear that, the reactions are always positive, always, every week. There's never been a week where most reactions aren't positive. But I swear that the wind was out of their sails for the Republicans or the people who yell at us. This past week, I wasn't the only one who noticed it, and they seemed demoralized. And a couple people open their windows and yell at us, and we were like, "Stay away from our children," and like, your kid needs a flu vaccine. No, but Epstein names your kid's name. They'll turn it right over. So we were having a time with it. And but that this is what causes such a fuss, without negating, the child rape that went on. I mean, it was as serious as could be. It was as serious as could be what went on. But they knew what he was. They knew what he was, and they keep saying you'll find this or that Democratic politician on it. We're like, okay, great. If they're on the list, we can. We're happy to kick them out of our association.
But you weren't willing to kick him out because after he was found guilty of assaulting a woman, that is shameful. Anyway, welcome aboard, Joe from Los Angeles, California, Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia. Polygraph lie detector. I think that's the first time I'm seeing you in the chat. Thank you very much for being here, and welcome. And of course, we have in Substack, we lose the first few, but we have Grace Garfunkel, John A. Davis, Carol Jensen, Rita, Donna Becker Robertson, Regina Wright, Johnny Davis, Cheryl Elkins, who said, "Make good trouble today, people." And I know you're going to talk a little bit about that, right, Neil, as well. Varvara Griffiths, Vosatva, Susan Russ. Do you lie? How you doing? Do you lie? Cheryl Elkins says, "That's right, Egberto. Focus on the rescission bill they are trying to pass." Exactly. Cowboy Hats, welcome aboard. S. Baker, Adam W., Gay Willett Kunis, Kay Hillis, Richard and Hogan. Gayla's from Georgia. It's never happening. Cowboy Hats is from Houston. Hey, guys, love you all, and thank you for being here, including It's Never Happening. Anyway, Neil, how do you want to start? What you got to start me off with today, brother?
So good trouble that was mentioned from our esteemed audience, and so the Good Trouble Lives On rallies are today, July 17th, and you could go my website, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. The most recent blog post has a link to local events. So there are Good Trouble events, and these are basically continuations of the June 14th No Kings. There also were demonstrations on President's Day and April 19th. So downtown Houston, 9 to 2. And I believe that there's a march around noon from City Hall to Discovery Green. There also are events, and again, you go to my blog, and there's a link there. You can go to Google and Google Mobilize Good Trouble in your community. Sugarland, Katy, the Woodlands, Galveston, Seabrook, Brenham, Huntsville, and I want to emphasize College Station. I want to emphasize that because these are all volunteer run. We say here often that the next protest is when you organize it. The First Amendment is your permit. This is substantial volunteer effort. Okay, there are national organizers who will take credit for it, who will try to guide it, manipulate it, say when the next event is, and the national organizers said when the next event is. And so today is the 5th anniversary of John Lewis's death. My own view is they could have well honored John Lewis with a bigger crowd on Saturday the 19th. Mm-hmm. There's a story, it's linked to in my blog, to a USA Today story saying that they want to mix up larger marches with some smaller events. And so I was on a national organizing call, me and 60,000 other people, right after June 14th. And so there were the groups, National Indivisible. And if you see a local indivisible group, no one's paying them. That is just a group of people. I mean, if you're in a town without an indivisible right now this morning, you could start an indivisible chapter, and you probably won't have any contact with the national group at all. You could send them an email and see if they'll send you a starter kit or something. But these are local folks. Public Citizen, Black Voters Matter, ACLU, and bless these people in these groups. I've had awareness that they had 5, 6, 7, 8 million people on June 14th, and were a little bit. They don't know what to do with that crowd. They're afraid of provoking Trump. But we saw with the Marines in Los Angeles, they don't need a provocation to send in the Marines, to send in the National Guard. Anyway, that's my view. I felt they wanted to slow down the momentum. They're saying we want to honor John Lewis. That's great. But anyway, there are events today. Go to Mobilize. You can Google Mobilize Good Trouble, or go to my blog, and there's a link, and you'll find it.
I want to expand on what you're saying there, because I think it's important what you've actually noticed, and that is, after a very successful No Kings march, why would you come back and allow the narrative to be, because it's what it's going to be. Already my inbox was not all that full of these no trouble, good trouble events. It wasn't like the No Kings event. My box was flooded. Not anymore. There were a few things about this event, which kind of tells you where the momentum is at. I don't hear a lot of activists excited about doing what we did with No Kings, which, and these guys are really hopping on that bandwagon when they had that big meeting after the event. So I think it's about tempering this, because this can, with all the wordiology that's out there, this thing can really get, in their opinion, out of hand. I don't think it's about out of hand, because the average American citizen who came to our events and to all the events from that, Jack reported, Howard reported, you reported, in fact, I have all those pictures from both Howard and Jack that in different separate parts of Houston, all of these events were peaceful. Most people are peaceful. You're going to have a few of the folks that are trying to create a ruckus. And as long as we know how to handle that, we could have, 10, 20 million people around the country on Saturday if we did it on Saturday. But as usual,
you could. Yeah. You could.
But,
and we, that whole peaceful thing, I'm sorry, but, I get a little rankled up with the whole peaceful thing.
Please go ahead, brother.
I mean, if you want a more orderly crew of people, than No Kings protesters, peaceful. I mean, it's the systems we're opposing that are violent as could be.
Right.
They're wildly violent. They're using public policy to kill people. And I understand someone organizes an event, and I understand they want to cover their bases. They want to make sure people feel it's safe. And so they'll make a point. This is peaceful. This is peaceful. Well, man, we're peaceful. We're peaceful. We're not the ones kicking people off health insurance and sending the Marines in. They're the other folks are crazy with violence. So we keep being put on the defensive with this peaceful stuff.
And we should be on the offensive, because let me give an example, right? And I'm coming to you in a minute, Tag, but I want to really give an example, because, what the Trump folks are trying to do is to normalize you seeing bodies brutalized in the street and not doing anything about it. Let me tell you that this is occurring now on the average of 7,000 times a day. A day. That's a new quota. Bring in 7,000 people a day. Do you know what it means to be taking 7,000 workers off the rolls every single day in America? To simply make some, I'm going to go into a little something here. I got to say this. Give me a few seconds here, Neil.
Mhm.
Look, recently, that raid that you saw at two legal marijuana farms in California, there is a young man. Of course, you know the young man is a person of color. That he was driving to this place in his car to his job as a security guard, and the officials, the thugs, the ICE thugs, surrounded him, bang on his window, telling him, get out of the car, ta-da-ta, ta-da-ta. He said, I am an American citizen. You know, will they stop every single car that was going there? Of course not. I am an American citizen. They drug him out of his car, slammed him to the ground, beat him, scratches all over his body, and held him for 3 days in a detention center, unable to call anybody, speak to anybody. Absolutely. That is the kind of violence that is occurring on American bodies today. That is what's occurring on American bodies today. Americans, you wonder when are more people going to stand up and trying to tame a protest like they are attempting to tame the protest by having it today as opposed to Saturday is not going to solve this problem. But I want all of you out there that are thinking, if this were you and you see these masked thugs coming on to people and just throwing them down. Some of them don't even have the signet that says police, right? And throw people down on the floor. They are trying to normalize this behavior because during the voting time, when they try to terrorize people to bring the vote down, that's their intent. Look, I'm going to write a vlog sometime in the next few days. One of our PDR posse works out there in the field. Construction is almost at a halt. And he sent me videos of all these places that are going to be built. They can't find workers to build. Why? Because it's not only the undocumented workers that are scared to go out there. It is a documented workers that seem a bit too ethnic, who know they will be given no support, thrown to the ground, beaten, and taken into custody. This is America, people. This is America. This is what we denounce about people around the world. But this is what we are supporting. And notice I said we are supporting this because the truth of the matter, I can't say what I really want to say because I have to be respectful to the airwaves. But what the advice that I would be giving others off of the airwaves to start mitigating this stuff, as an immigrant myself, a naturalized citizen myself, I can't explain how this feels to the core. Because it gives you a sense of not having a platform below your legs. Like the platform below your legs can at any time be taken out. Neil, we need to continue, but let me get a couple calls and then continue. I know you have something to say, but let me just get to Tag and Franklin, and then we come back. Sure. Tag, come on in.
Great.
Hi, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Well, I had a quick comment about the Epstein thing.
Yes, sir.
The Democrats want to use that to try to get back at Bill Clinton and Bill Gates. So, I mean, they're just trying to, dissuade people away from the Epstein-Trump file. But this is the thing I really was thinking about this morning, which I believe that in America, the virtues of Robin Hood are dead. We grew up being taught that Robin Hood was a good guy, taking money from the rich and helping get it back to the poor people in the society. And now people seem to think that they need to be taking money from the poor people and giving it to the rich. And I think it pretty much turns on its head that the lessons we were taught with Robin Hood. So that was my comment for this morning.
Well, let me tell you, Tag, as I see it, first of all, you're right as usual. But let me tell you, I think people need permission to be bad. People need permission to be unempathetic. People need permission to be racist. People need permission to be all these evil things, right? Because, and I mean this, and I'm not being naive when I say people have an inclination to be good. I mean, you think about when a hurricane occurs here in Houston or any part of Texas, people run to aid. People don't run and say, "Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? Are you this? Are you that?" People run
Trump
to
does.
aid.
Trump does.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, Neil. But I'm saying I don't consider Trump people. I don't consider Trump a normal human being. I consider him the manifestation, the instantiation of evil. But most Americans, they don't. They. But what Trump does is, all of us as human beings, we see certain things and certain negative things come up sort of as a defense mechanism in our being. But we've always had that control of our minds to say, "Oh, Egberto, you shouldn't really think that. Look on the positive side." Or, "You shouldn't think that. It is wrong to think that, Egberto." And then you fix yourself. And before you turn that bad thought into action, your better being comes in and say, "That is wrong." Or you hear your mother saying, "Egberto, you don't want to do that," or "That's the wrong thing to do." Right? But what?
No, I was imagining my father swearing.
I know, right?
I was listening to my father. I can't repeat what Dad would be saying.
I am still, look, my father is gone now for several years. I still hear his voice. I still hear my mom's voice. She's alive and well. I still hear my mom's voice. Whenever I think certain things, I hear her voice, right? Goodness. Hey, you need to do. And I know she hear her folks' voices as well. That's how we were reared, right? And most people are reared that way. But Trump gives you permission to let your evil come out. Go ahead, Tag. You wanted to come back. I heard you jump in.
Yeah. Real quick. The story of Robin Hood, I'm still stuck on that this morning. When they say he took money from the rich and give it to the poor, I think that what he was actually doing was giving it to people who were in need, like what you just said. It wasn't necessarily these people were poor, but these people were needy. And he would take the money from the people who did not need the money and give it back to the people who were needy and needed help. And I think that's what our country was founded on, is helping the needy in this country, so that we all floated all boats, I think is the idea. So with that, I'm going to go. Thanks, Egberto.
Thank you, brother, Tag. Franklin, come on in.
Hey, y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Hello? All right, good deal. Yeah, it's been a minute, but the way Neil was talking about the protests today, it's just got me thinking. Lately you've had Ann Coulter tweeting that we did. I'll just say her word for word, so we can't be in legal trouble. She literally said, "We did not kill enough Indians." It might have been Kristi Noem or whoever. I get them confused. Who's talking about feeding not 10, not 20 million, but 60 million people to alligators at Alligator Auschwitz. So they're literally trying to lay the groundwork to normalize genocide against people with native blood in this country. So they really are. They're trying to create a day to where white Americans never have to think about who have lived here continuously for thousands of years. So given that, I say that to say we have no excuse but to have nationwide protests in this country every damn week until these fascists are gone. To Neil's point, thank you very much for reporting on the protest coming up today. But please try to avoid any discouraging language saying, no, it should have been on this day, it should have been on that day. Because Thursday protests obviously will have less turnout than Saturday protests. But we really don't have the luxury of like splitting those hairs, because when you use discouraging language or you frame an event in a discouraging way, your average person isn't going to think, oh, he's just using constructive criticism. Your average person, you might just be helping them talk themselves into not going. And whenever there's a national protest, everyone needs the encouragement to go. That's about all on my mind.
Franklin, let me just say that is, I think, constructive criticism, not just for Neil, but for me, because I've been parroting the same thing that Neil said. And the fact that you heard some negativity that you thought maybe could stop some folks, maybe we should make the language a little bit differently. But so thank you for your commentary and your observation.
Thank you.
All right, let me go ahead, sir.
Before we go, let me thank Franklin for the call. And so when he said the 60, right, and just to build on what Franklin said, the 60 million people comment from it was Noam. She said it was 65 million or whatever, and it was the number of Latinos, the number of people in the United States who identify as Hispanic or Latino. So it was a very specifically chosen number, just like Franklin was saying, that was meant to. And I also want to say, off of text, I have signed up to speak at Houston City Council on Tuesday. I'm going to talk about it more next week. And I am going to ask them, and it'll be on my blog, to call members of City Council and contact them. I'm going to speak on the subject of that the city is not tracking. I mean, first of all, the city should stop dealing with ICE. They're not going to. At the moment, they're not going to. But I'm going to speak and say, you're not following up what happens to them. So the city, so HPD and I imagine county law enforcement, Harris County and community, and in your community, wherever you're living, cooperating with ICE. We're not tracking if they're taking persons legally here, if they're getting due process, if they're in humane conditions, if they're in the torture prison. So basically the city policy is right now, hey, I took you to the boxcar. I didn't know it was going to Treblinka, right? How could I know?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And so I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak on Tuesday. Any citizen can go, any Houstonian, 2:00 Tuesdays, you can sign up, call the city secretary, and do want to encourage people to go today, Thursday, to a Good Trouble. I'm going to go, and none of this has to do with the volunteer organizers, I think, although I think I was clear about that earlier. This tremendous volunteer work being done to make it work.
Hey, thank you for doing that, Neil. And please remember, Neil, and I don't know the exact date. Maybe you can look it up for the next, after I speak to a few callers. But Houston has decided that on one day they are going to have the talk session at 6:00, I believe, to allow more people to show up.
I think August 29th. I'll confirm that. And so now once a month, at least for a few months, until they decide whether it's efficacious or not, they're going to have a public comment session at 5:30. Actually, I think they moved it to. We'll confirm it. And that begins at the end of August. That was Council Member Mario Castillo who proposed that.
Thank you for that, brother. And Harry Denson from Missouri City, thank you for being here, my brother. We have Cheryl Elkins who says, totally agree. Seeing on empathetic, cruel acts gives permission to those inclined to follow suit. Very true. Uju says, and Egberto, once it becomes normalized, we the people lose our own humanity. We can't lose that ever. Uju agrees with Cheryl, of course. And Jane Oberg says, have you noticed the MAGA Republicans has cut billions of dollars from the needy, storing these non-criminal immigrants in draining our treasury and making Trump buddies rich by rounding them up and caging them? Exactly. I'm glad you noticed that, Jane. That this is really a money-making enterprise. It serves several purposes. Normalization of hate, normalization of you seeing certain bodies brutalized, and at the same time, making a profit from said brutalization. It's never happening. Says we are voicing our rights. This is peaceful. They just want antagonistic confrontation. They think that gets them ahead. It does not. Thank you guys for those very smart comments. Let's go to Augie. Come on in, brother Augie.
Good morning. I was thinking about the floods that happened in the Guadalupe River. I was there on that day on July 4th. We were going to a resort there with my children and their families. And I was thinking how they needed help. And the president of Mexico sent a team of Mexican experienced workers to help out. But there has not been a mention of it at all on any of the network news here in the United States about this team. Then I understand the team got kicked out because they weren't invited.
Verify that because, by the way, you are correct that a lot of mention wasn't made about their performance. I want to make sure that we're accurate when it comes to whether somebody found them and tried to kick him out or whatever, because there was some bad information on Facebook saying that, and I don't know if that part was true, but please verify that for me, because that one I haven't heard. Again, we want to make sure to tell our folks the right information. But anyway, what else you want to add to that, brother Augie?
So, well, like when Puerto Rico had those hurricanes, all he did to help them was throw out paper towels.
I remember.
Right, like Hurricane Maria.
Had trouble too, and he held back help for them. So he only helps those who praise him and not those who don't. And I remember one time when you said you didn't like to call alligator Auschwitz, but he's following Hitler's plan book, Mein Kampf. So I thought we could use Auschwitz for that.
Well, you know what? I kind of respect what as Congressman, a young guy, Gen Z congressman. His name is Maxwell Frost, he said the reason he wasn't using alligator Auschwitz, he wanted to call things out. He didn't want to sensationalize the evil that was going there. And I am at two places, because hearing you say, well, it's like Auschwitz for real. I get it. The alligator part maybe put some sensationalism and take away some of the seriousness. I don't know. But Maxwell Frost is kind of think the alligator stuff puts a little bit of, non-seriousness into it. I don't know how to take that, but I've started calling it the internment camps, which I think it is. And I've gotten a few emails from people who read my blogs where I actually called it alligator Auschwitz. I shouldn't giggle there, but where I called it accelerator, and they've kind of called me out on that and said, Egberto, this is more serious than just using their terminology. So I don't know what you think about that, Augie.
Yeah, well, in Germany, when it started, those concentration camps were said there to be labor camps. And the people around those camps said they didn't know anything about it at all. When they could smell the ovens going on, they knew what was going on, but they said, they just ignored it and said they didn't know what was going on.
It's a typical thing that people don't act. You're right about that.
There's so many Jews here because of a Democrat. Immigrants, only a certain number of immigrants were allowed into the United States. But there was LBJ was in the Naval Reserve, and when he was activated during World War II, and he was in charge of the immigrants coming into Texas. And there's a story about it in the San Antonio papers some time ago about his duty. And an aide came to him and said, well, we've reached our limits. We can't allow any more Jews in here. What shall we do? And LBJ just turned to him and said, print more of those papers up. We'll let them in. And
LBJ was an ancient. LG, go ahead. Tell me about your friend real quick, but I got to go. Tell me about your friend real quick.
Thanks. But that's it. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you, my brother. Bye-bye. Appreciate you. Let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Egberto. Yeah, I'll be pretty brief. I give you as an example of why immigration makes this country greater. I want to say that before I start.
Thank you.
With the Epstein files, no matter what, there's going to be conspiracy theories. If there were Republicans in there, they would say that's the deep state setting us up with fake files. If there's Democrats in there, well, you know what they're going to do there. So no matter what happens, it's the deep state, and they're going to whitewash whatever's in there if it hurts them, and they're going to talk about it big if it helps them. So it's all fake. I want to build detention centers for white collar crime, and I want to put them on golf courses. I think that would be a answer. But anyway, I just wanted to make a brief comment about the work you do and how I appreciate it. And I had one more comment I wanted to make, and my senior brain ain't working, and I need about 3 more cups of coffee. So I'm done.
All right. Thank you so kindly, Bruce, and thank you for the kudos. And I kind of like I kind of like putting those detention centers on golf courses, making sure that we have a moat around it. I don't think that's a bad idea. All right, let's
they're not prosecuting any white collar. They've taken all these people off all this.
Yes,
this is the right time, to commit a white collar crime. Unfortunately, because all those people are in immigration enforcement.
All right, Betty, come on in, Betty. Betty, you're on, beautiful. Betty, you're on, beautiful. Okay, let's put. I hear somebody there. Betty may have left for a minute. Let's go to John.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I have to. I kind of agree with your comments that people are basically good, but actually, in a way, not really. I think that people have to believe in something bigger and better of themselves. And I'm not saying they necessarily have to believe in God, but they have to believe in something. And so it's easy to change and give permission for people to do the most hideous things. I mean, how did 40 million people in the Soviet Union die? How did he accomplish the genocide of the Jews in the Holocaust? Hitler. So, people are given permission, but if they actually believe in truth or in goodness and the worthiness of people, then they wouldn't have gone along with it. And it's kind of easy to override that in a lot of people. And so I'm not going to let them off the hook. I think that people can be quite hateful, and they are, they can kill people. It's like, like Macbeth,
John, let me just say, let me interrupt for one reason, because my thing is, what is the first, when people see in things like hurricanes or whatever, people's first reaction is generally to help, as far as I've seen, not only here in the United States, but in Panama or whatever. People are always there to help each other. But when others allow that fear thing in the back of your head, we all have that self-preservation thing. And even being good can be a self-preservation thing, right? So, I mean, I hear you and I respect what you have to say, but I wonder sometimes. But hey, John, every line is taken, and I want to get to everybody before we get out of here. So let me thank you. I hear your comment. Let's go to Nancy. Come on in, Nancy. And Nancy, I can hold only to 30 seconds. Come on in, Nancy.
Yeah. Yesterday, the Houston City Hall, the city council voted to extend their homeless people, not being able to sleep on the sidewalk or having their possessions touch the sidewalk. They extended it 24/7 yesterday. So this is what our city has become. And Robert Robertson's execution date has been set for October 16 for a crime that never happened. He's an autistic person. He took his daughter. Anyway, that has been, I'll call in again about that.
Thank you so kindly for informing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and
finish,
Saturday,
Nancy. Finish it.
PacificaFightBack.org. Go to register for this Saturday at 5 p.m. We will discuss the new fascist bylaws that are passed in Pacifica. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Nancy.
Let me
go
say,
go ahead, Neil.
very briefly, Nancy, thanks for the call. So the city yesterday extended what Nancy said to, you can't lie down or sleep in downtown and east downtown, what they call EDU, the gentrifying Latino areas. Those are the neighborhoods that applied yesterday to 24 hours. The two no votes were Tarsha Jackson and Abby Kamen. Abby Kamen suggested it was part of moving people out for the World Cup next year. And the mayor has a homeless initiative. It's a larger debate, but it's for the moment, it's two neighborhoods that 24/7 you can't lay down or sleep, and they intend to take it everywhere. Thank you, Nancy, for bringing it up.
Thank you for that update, Neil. Let's go to Jimmy. Come on in, Jimmy. Jimmy, we only got about 30 seconds per person. Come on in.
Yeah, Tuesday night I watched Frontline. It was all about the controversial things that Trump has done, from pardoning, I believe, over 1,000 people who were convicted on January 6th, how the ICE people are picking up people without due process and shipping some of them out of the country, how he got law firms that gave him millions of dollars worth of free law for work because he was threatening them with not allowing them in federal buildings and so forth. He's a very vindictive president. And I urge people to watch Frontline. It's on every other Tuesday night.
Thank you, my brother.
The next one's going to be about Israel and Iran. So watch Frontline and pull the one up about Trump.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Jimmy. Keep on giving us that good info. Have a good one. Let's go to let's go to Harry. Harry, 30 seconds.
Good morning, bro. Yeah. This situation, this guy we talked about earlier was a security guard. What was his ethnic background?
He was Latino with indigenous appearance. Go ahead.
Well, you stupid MAGA. Well, I wrote this in the chat. You stupid MAGA people and non-MAGA people. This is what your Trump vote got you. They're trying to normalize this. They're trying to turn us into an autocracy. They just want to detain us. And I was talking to my friend from Florida about this. He just said, they're just going after the brown people and people with accents. Egberto Willies has an accent. I said, no, they're not. They will go after people, even if you are a non-accent. They'll just look at your color, and they'll just say to you, well, you're not from America. We're going to detain you. We're going to send you to the alligator hospital. Then we're going to deport you to Africa or one of those Central American or South American countries.
Thank you, Harry. I get your point, Harry, and you make a good point. Thank you, my brother. Have to keep on going. But before I go to the next person, I want to say you're right, polygraph lie detector. Shame, help the homeless, don't outlaw them. I love that phrase. Help the homeless, don't outlaw them. Very good phrase. Polygraph, you nailed that. Joe also says alligator Alcatraz, just call it what it is. They made merchants and the highway signs. And you know what? That is what Maxwell was talking about.
Frost.
He said, Maxwell Frost was talking about. He said, I don't want this to be a slogan that people can profit from. And Alcatraz thing was a slogan. That's thank you for bringing that up, Joe. That is so important, and the reason why he didn't want these phrases out there. Johnny, come on in, 30 seconds, brother.
We got something better than polygraph tests when it comes to Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. It's called you can run, but you can't hide. What do I mean by that? Our whole lives, when we live our lives, we don't make a move from one day to the next as a kid, a teenager, a young adult, thinking, I'm going to run for office when I'm 40 or 50. You do your life. And right now, for this generation especially, it's really tough because of interactive media, that everything is recorded and you can't erase anything. But even with Donald Trump and Bill Clinton's generation, we've got plenty of proof of what their associations have been recorded. They can't deny it. They can't spin it. They are both perverts.
Thank you very much for that, my dear brother, Johnny. I talk to you on mañana. Let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yeah, I'm on now.
Yes, you're on.
All right.
So last month, Harris County alone arrested 1,364 illegal aliens. 7 of them were wanted for murder. So if they send them off to Florida, I don't really care.
What is your
7
source?
people that are here in Harris County.
What is your source?
Houston Chronicle. Houston Chronicle. You want to look that up?
No, continue. What else do you want to add, sir?
If you get 7 murderers off the streets, where do they go? I don't care. They're off the streets. There were pedophiles. There were DWI cases, robbery cases, and that's Harris County alone. So there was 10.
Let me ask you this: do you drink? Let me ask you: do you drink, sir?
Yeah, of course I drink. Yes, I do.
If for some accidental reason you are caught with over the 1% or whatever it is that with your blood level 0.1%.
0.8.
Yeah,
0.8. 0.8.
Would you be okay without due process for them to just take you and throw you into Florida at the internment camp in Florida?
Do you think that they didn't have due process when a judge signs off for their arrest warrant? Is that not due process?
What I'm saying, sir, is that your Führer's guy has said that due process is not necessary when their thugs take people off the streets. He has said due process is not necessary. Due process is what determines if are you an American or not. Are you this or not? Due process is where those questions are answered. Due process gives you that. So are you okay that if for some reason you accidentally are drunk behind the wheel, that they just take you and throw you onto Florida? Are you okay with that?
I would be afforded due process, just like they did in California.
Like I said, the Führer's guy says due process for their group of thugs that have been monetized by this last bill. He said due process is not necessary. So let me just be honest. You are going to get due process because you are a white guy, and they'll see that you're a white guy. But I could be a black Latino guy that they don't give due process because they know, but you could have been a white Canadian, but you will get due process. You're absolutely right, Brian. And that's what I'm saying. You are okay because in your skin, brother, in your skin, they will give you due process. But the fact that the Führer said due process is not necessary means that in my skin, I won't necessarily give due process. And that is a level of empathy you are unable to understand. Thank you, brother. Neil, you wanted to come in.
Next week, Brian, if I'm looking through all the Chronicle immigration stories here, I'm not seeing what you referenced. Maybe next Thursday when I'm on, you can give me that date, that the 7 murder story. I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, and again, I've not. You'd think that if that story were really true, right, it would have blown up because they'll use that. Look, 0.07% of the people that are picked up are murderers. You don't see that, right? So anyhow, let's go to Patrick. Come on in, Patrick.
Yeah, a couple comments for Brian. It sounds like what you're getting to. What my point is, what if we figured out if we secured 1,000 Marines and we find 7 deviants in them, we just start scooping up all the Marines and don't give them any right
due process, right?
Yeah, because Brian's an ex-Marine, right? So
I think he is.
Yeah, absolutely is. So it would be very easy to find 0.7% of people in any group that are deviant. So let's start with the ex-Marines, ones that import wives. And then next, yesterday he commented that Republicans do better with the economy, but his president that he likes so much said it himself that Democrats do better for the economy.
Yeah, he said that several years ago. You're absolutely right. But hey, Patrick, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and talk to later on this afternoon. Thank you, brother. And thank you for all the commentary that you give us. Let's go to Bruce again.
Yeah, Egberto.
Yes.
Egberto.
Yes, brother.
I remember my other comment I was going to make. The guy they smashed the window of and drug off was a veteran. I want to hear from the VFW on this. I'm done. Bye.
Thank you so kind. And that is a sad part about it. there are some people that just don't get, they should make that bad. Let's see. Bard, come on in. You got 30 seconds and just 30 seconds.
Yeah, due process, Patrick. If you're an illegal alien, you're illegal. You crossed the border illegally. Okay?
Okay, Bart, how do you know you're undocumented if you don't have due process? Please explain. How do you know somebody's undocumented if they don't have due process?
Well, they have due process after they get arrested. It's just like the security guard you're talking about.
No, that's what we just said. All right, let's studio, come on in. Bye, Bart. Inconsistent. Studio, come on in.
Well, if I get in trouble, I want my due process, and I want people to have due process to find out who they are and if they're actually a criminal. So that's what due process is, Brian. That's how they figure it out. It's a filter to say, okay, is he a criminal? Well, we couldn't find anything on him. That's due process. So wake up, bro.
All right. Any quick thing that you want to say, Jack?
Jack says no.
All right. And Neil, close us out, Neil.
Right. I'm not confident of due process being afforded to anyone taken by ICE at this point. And I'm just waiting for when political opponents start getting rounded up. Houston Democracy Project, HoustonDemocracyProject.com. And there's a link today to my latest post to the No Kings Good Trouble protests that are taking place in Houston throughout the region. Volunteer organized, people just like you.
I have your link in my newsletter as well, my brother.
Great.
Anyway, folks, love you all. You can reach me at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. You can finish the show at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.